Hello everyone, I Sonali Mate welcome you all for the session of sliding contact bearing part 3. In my previous video, we have discussed about the basics of bearings. We have talked about the modes of lubrications, zero, thick and thin lubrication, thin film lubrication. Then we have talked about Mackey's investigation and Petrov's equation. Now our today's objectives of discussion is to study the solution for bearing by deriving the Reynolds equation. Now, the theory of hydrodynamic lubrication is given by this equation. So, there are some assumptions in case of Reynolds equation that are lubricant should obey Newton's law of viscosity, lubricant should be incompressible, then inertia forces in the oil film are negligible. Then simply viscosity of lubricant is constant. So throughout viscosity is considered as a constant. Then effect of curvature of film with respect to film thickness is neglected. In this actually it is assumed that thin is very In this actually it is assumed that film is very thin and the pressure is constant across the film thickness. Now, next assumption is shaft and bearing are rigid and continuous supply of lubricant should be there. So, based on this assumption, Reynolds equation is derived. So, let's see what is Reynolds equation. Now, for Reynolds equation, hydrodynamic journal bearing is discussed as it states the theory of it. Here you can see this is the shaft, which is also called as journal. This is the bush or bearing surface. Then there is a film in between this shaft and bush, oil film. Now here N is nothing but the direction of rotation of shaft and W is the weight acting on the shaft, which is acting on O1. Actually, there is a eccentric distance between bearing center and shaft center. So, it is denoted by OO1. So, this is the eccentric distance. And again, now we have to consider an element which is having dimension dx, dy and dz as shown in figure. Actually, we are considering now three axes over here, coordinate system. Here you can say this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Now, what is x-axis? It is nothing but the direction of motion. Why? It is acting in a radial plane. Here in this diagram also you can see this is the y-axis. In this you can see it is in radial plane. Z-axis, it is parallel to the axis of journal. So this is the axis which is axis of journal. So Z-axis is the axis which is parallel to the journal. So these are the two views of the of the hydrodynamic journal bearing, and in this we are considering a fluid element having the dimensions dx, dy and dz. So here this diagram shows fluid element in xy plane and this shows fluid element in yz plane. Again d is the shaft of diameter or journal and L is the length of bearing, and also you can say it is the length of journal. As we know that journal is nothing but the shaft inside the bearing is called as journal. Okay. Now, next is U, V, W. These are the velocities in x, y, z direction respectively. Tau x and tau z are shear stress along x and z direction. Shear stress along x and z direction. Now, as x is your direction of motion, okay, and when x increases, then what will happen? Pressure will increase. X increases means what? Fluid is moving in forward direction. As the fluid is moving in forward direction, we know that the pressure is increased. So if your x is increased by dx, it means fluid is moving further with the dx, then the pressure generated by that increment of x is given by dabba p by dabba x into dx. Now we have to consider the forces acting on the fluid element. So this is a fluid element. Now here we will see the equilibrium forces in x direction acting on the forces acting on this fluid element. So this is nothing but the 2D view of fluid element, x and y plane. So dabba y will be its length along y axis and dabba x will be length along x axis. Here are the forces acting on fluid element. Now P is the pressure acting on the fluid element. So force will be pressure into area. So here now P is acting on which surface? P is acting on this surface in xy plane. Now if suppose here I am showing you the 3D of fluid element. If you are considering it as a cubical shape. Now here dy, dx and dz. So in this diagram we have seen dy and dx. dz is along this direction. That is along this direction. Okay. So surface on which P force is pressure P is acting. That is this is the surface, no? This is the surface. So the area of the surface will be dy into dz. So here you can see P is multiplied by dy into dz. Similarly, this will act on the same surface. So dz into dy. So same over here, dy into dz. And now this is nothing but the shear stress plus incremental of the shear stress due to increase in x. It is acting on this surface. So we have to multiply this factor by the area of this cross-sectional shape. So it is acting on this upper shape. Now upper shape, this is nothing but the dx and this is nothing but the dz. So again it is multiplied by dz. Similarly, for the lower surface, area will be same, dx into dz. So here considering the equilibrium of forces, so P is along positive x, so plus, this force is along negative x, so minus. Again tau x is along negative, so minus, and again over here it is along positive, so we have taken it as positive. Now here this will be minus P into dy into dz plus P into dy into dz. So this term will be cancelled out with this P term, and again this tau x term will be cancelled out with this one. So what remains is this into dx into dz upon this into dy into dz. So here we have got this equation. Now actually here is a mistake. Don't consider this as a P. So simply this is the remaining term. Okay. Now here we can see there is a product of dx into dy into dz. Again dx, dy, dz. Now this product is nothing but the volume of that element. Now we know that element will have a positive volume. So it will not be equals to 0. So we can cancel it out from both the side. So what remains is dabba tau x upon dabba y equals to dabba p upon dabba x. Now this is nothing but the pressure gradient along the x direction. Pressure gradient along the x direction. Now as we know that fluid, or our assumption is fluid obeys the Newton's law of viscosity. So according to Newton's law of viscosity, we have the formula, that is P is equals to mu A into U by H. Now here you can see that P by A can be written in the form of stress, shear stress in x direction is equals to mu into du by dy. U is nothing but the velocity along the x direction upon dabba y, height of the fluid element. Okay. Now from equation 2 and 3, now what we have to do, we have to substitute this value in this equation. So substituting this value over here, so what you will get, mu into dabba square u upon dabba y square. So we are taking this mu towards the right side. So here is the equation, dabba square mu upon dabba y square equals to 1 by mu dabba p by dabba x. Now as we have got this equation and we are interested to find the velocity, so we have to derive the equation in terms of u. So integrate this equation twice. So dabba square u upon dabba square y. When you are integrating it initially, what you will get? Dabba u upon dabba y equals to 1 by mu into dabba p by dabba x into y. You will get y. Then plus you have to add a constant. Initially you will take c1. Okay. Then again integrating it twice. Here you will get simply u is equals to 1 by mu dabba p by dabba x into that y will give you y square by 2 plus the c1 will be multiplied by y and plus c2. Now here we have to apply or we have to find c1 and c2. So for that we will apply boundary condition. U is equals to 0 when y will be 0 and u is equals to capital U when y will be h. This can be more simplified by this diagram. Now here when y is equals to 0, your u will be 0, velocity will be 0 at the bearing surface. So this is the condition at bearing surface, and y is equals to h, it means it is a condition at journal surface. Now here actually velocity is capital U. So now using this first condition and substitute it in this equation, you will get C2 equals to 0. As both the values are 0, all the three terms will be 0 and C2 will be equals to 0. Similarly, now substitute second boundary condition in this equation. So here it will be capital U 1 by mu dabba p by dabba x into h square by 2 plus C1 of h. Now taking h or dividing by h throughout. So what you will get? U by h, and taking this term towards the left side, minus 1 by mu dabba p by dabba x into h square by h2. So h get cancelled, it remains h by 2 equals to c1. So this is how we have got two values. Substitute that two values in this equation. So capital U is equals to 1 by mu dabba p by dabba x into y square by 2 plus c1 value and c2 is 0. So now again take common from these two equations. So this will give you an equation of mu by taking common in between these two terms. So this is equation number 4 for the velocity in surface velocity in x direction. Now next, similarly we can find out the velocity along the z direction. So again same fluid element in yz plane. This is a 2D view of fluid. Again you can consider it as you can draw it for 3D. So this is dz and dy. So dx will be along this plane, along this edges you can say. So now this p will act on which surface? It will act on dabba y into dabba x. Okay, so now we have to take equilibrium of these forces. Now p is in this direction and pressure will be incremental pressure dabba p by dabba z. Now if your z increases by dz, then pressure will increase by dabba p by dabba z into dz. So we have to add that term in this as we have done in previous case. Okay, now this is the shear stress and this is the incremental shear stress. So considering equilibrium of forces, same which we have done for x direction. So again this is positive, so positive, it is along negative z, so minus. Now this term into area, so this is area, this term is acting on the upward portion, so this is dz into dx. Now this is acting on this area, minus along negative side p, so p into dx into dy. Now again in this will get cancelled out. Again same, this will get cancelled out. What remains is dabba tau z upon dabba y into dy into dx dz equals to dabba p by dabba z into dz into dy dx. So this is equation. So again this is the volume which cannot be 0, so we can cancel it out. So what remains is this equation you get, and that is nothing but the pressure gradient along the z direction. So now as again we have to apply Newton's law of viscosity for z direction. Tau z is equals to mu by tau dabba w upon dabba y. Substitute this in this equation. So from that we will get dabba square W upon dabba Y square equation. Now again integrating this equation twice. So by integrating again you are getting two constant terms C3 and C4. This is your equation. Now again you have to apply boundary condition. So now applying boundary conditions, when your y will be 0, velocity in z direction will be 0. When your y is equals to h, velocity will be again 0. Because direction of motion is x. So increase in velocity will be along the x direction. Now C4, so substituting this first boundary condition in this equation, you will get C4 equals to 0. Again substituting this boundary condition in same, you will get C3 equals to this equation. My suggestion is take your pen paper and then solve it, so you can easily understand what I am telling. Okay, so now substitute C3 and C4 value in previous equation of W, you will get this equation. So we have got this W and we have got this U. These are nothing but the velocity distribution of a fluid along x and z direction. Now we have to find the rate of flow of fluid in x direction per unit width of z direction. So rate of flow of fluid in x direction, it is denoted by Qx per unit width. So we have taken over here 1. So now rate of flow of fluid, so we have to consider along the x, it is given by u into, with respect to dy we have to consider dy dz. So dz is 1. And again now we know that there is variation from 0 to h. So now here this is your equation, substitute u as this term into dy. So now integrate this term, u by h is constant, y will give you y square by 2 plus this term, this whole term is constant, simply you have to integrate over here, y cube by 3 minus h y square by 2. Now again you have to solve this by substituting this in this term, y equals to h, minus again you have to substitute in this term, y is equals to 0. You all are aware about integration. So on solving it, you will get this equation. When you are substituting y equals to 0, this term becomes, total term becomes 0. So simply remains h term. So here it remains h, and on solving this bracket, that will give you minus h cube upon 6. So again simplifying it by multiplying by 6 into 2, that will give you h cube uh minus h cube by 12 mu into dabba p by dabba x. So this is the rate of flow of fluid in x direction. Similarly, we can find out the rate of flow of fluid in z direction. It is given by qz. Now we have to go for the end of Reynolds equation. Here we have to consider general continuity equation for incompressible flow. This is one of our assumption, incompressible flow of fluid. Now for that the equation is given by, in terms of rate of flow of fluid, dabba rate of flow of fluid in x direction upon dabba x plus dabba qy upon dabba y plus dabba qz upon dabba z equals to 0. So this is nothing but a general continuity equation for incompressible flow of fluid. Now we are having qx, we are having qz, we are not having qy. Why actually we have not found? Because this term is 0 actually. How it comes 0? Flow of fluid is not along the along the y direction. It is along the simply x direction, and we are considering it along the z direction. As we are having this 3 axis. So this y axis is the radial plane. This is along the length of journal. So fluid is along the length of journal, and also the fluid flow along the x direction. So simply we are considering z and x. We are not considering this y. So this term becomes 0. Simply substitute the value of qx and qz in this equation. So this is your equation in which we have substituted the values, and this is nothing but the Reynolds equation for two-dimensional flow of fluid. So this is Reynolds equation. Again, We can simplify it by taking u term, this one term and this is second term on the one side. So it is u term and w term. Taking it to one side and again multiplying over here, that 2 ones are 2 and 2 6 are. So taking that 6 also in the outward direction. Solve it, then you will come to know. So 6 is taken in this side and UH terms are taken on one side. So this is the equation. So as mu is constant, from the one of our assumption that viscosity is throughout constant, so you can take this mu to the outward or to the left side. So here as a constant you can say. So I have taken over here. So 6 mu is equals to, in bracket, this remains, again u and w are taken out as a constant. So u dA by h upon dA by x plus w dA by h upon dA by z. Right side is as it is, simply mu is not there. Okay. Now practically h cannot vary in two directions. H cannot vary in two directions. Simply h can vary in one direction. So variation of h along the z direction is taken as 0. So as this is the condition that h cannot vary along the two directions, this term is taken as 0. So substitute over here, dA by h upon dA by z is equals to 0. So this term becomes 0. So what remains is 6 mu into capital U dA by h by dA by x equals to this whole term as it is. Now this is the simplified Reynolds equation with the consideration or with the assumption. This is first and this is second one, that mu is constant. So this is the simplified Reynolds equation. So I hope you have understood. Kindly solve it. If you are having any doubt, you can write in comment box. Thank you.